grand. I'm really happy we're live because I can't fucking find a USB port. There we go. Sorry about that, folks. I just adjust something here. Thought I was right and realized I'm not. I said, "Oh no."
It's very inconvenient that all of these changes happen like literally the second we go live.
It's just how it is though, and I don't know why. It just seems like 9 times out of 10, my life is like everything's going swell, and then all of a sudden I'm like, fuck.
Do you want me to give everyone another 10 minutes?
Welcome to the Pinfall Podcast. I am your host, Liz, and I am joined as always by my I want to have a good name for you here. My saucy, surreptitious spinster co-host, Marcus.
There are so many adjectives that start with S, and those are the ones you think of?
I tried to think of better ones, but when you're on the spot, man, it's not so easy.
How about sexy?
Oh.
Supercalifragic. I'm not even gonna try and say the joke again. Okay, maybe there's not as many that start with S. Shining.
Shining. Shiny.
Super.
Yeah, super just sounds like
Sad.
you're a super guy. Oh, well, I was trying to say nice things. A spinster isn't exactly the nicest thing I could have said, though.
Superficial.
Shallow.
Yeah.
Geister.
Spicy.
I know, I mean, you're white.
Spicy. Like a calzone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, so we had Smackdown today. Not super exciting from a match perspective, but a big promo episode. It was big for the main event scene, big for WrestleMania matches. But that was really it. Wasn't super exciting. Fell asleep at one point.
I almost did. The reason I almost fell asleep, that was because my headache was taking me down as a human being.
You see, I think I was bored by the Seth Rollins Shinsuke match.
Really? I wasn't. I mean, we started falling asleep at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I wasn't bored by it, per se.
I think it's just because it was a repeat. Like, we got the same thing on Sunday. In fact, that one was better.
Yeah, I guess. I like the ending of this one, at least.
Well, yeah, the ending just brings Cesaro into the fold and gives us Cesaro and Seth at Mania.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll talk about it. I didn't hate the match. I also did take the best notes on the match, so.
Also,
it wasn't the worst match tonight, in my opinion.
I just want to say I am drinking black miso beer, 11% alcohol content, and with miso. It's a Russian Imperial Stout with miso. It tastes awful. Like, this is one of the worst tasting beers I've ever had.
Yeah. I don't really like stouts that much, though.
It burns with every sip.
It's also, I mean, it's super alcoholic, so, like...
It tastes like I'm drinking liquor.
Yeah. I have a vodka soda because I don't fuck with 11% alcohol on a podcast. I'm too small for that.
Instead, you just go with liquor.
At least I know what I'm getting with this. Like, I know how much I can handle.
All
that,
right.
I'm not so sure.
All right, news.
You know, I guess we could do the news. There's not a ton of news today. I was actually getting nervous when I was doing the news because I was like, You have anything to talk about?
Well, I've got some news.
Yes, actually, if you want, you can head us off with the news.
All right. So, as everyone knows, or most likely everyone knows, if you're a wrestling fan, WrestleMania is coming up in less than 2 weeks. Or no, 15 days. 15 days it's coming. Because they had the little graphic that came up. And they just released the health and safety information for the in-person event. And so this is especially important for those that are watching the podcast who are going to WrestleMania.
You watch this podcast and you are going to WrestleMania, by the way, I have no respect. Unless like you're super vaccinated and everyone in your life is vaccinated, which I kind of doubt.
Unless you're like a health professional. Like a doctor.
I mean, it's not like they're being held at gunpoint where they're like, well, you're a health professional, so you have to go.
Well, no, it's like those people are definitely vaccinated and sanitary.
Yeah.
But
I'm just saying.
Some of this information is actually really interesting. They're having everyone sign a waiver when they enter, because of course. Everyone has to wear a mask for the entirety that they're there, unless they're actively eating or drinking, and they'll be given a free KN95 mask when they enter. And they'll be selling WWE branded masks. They'll be doing temperature checks. Everyone has to social distance. There'll be special social distancing markers. Everyone must follow all social distancing guidelines. There's also,
Who's enforcing this?
security, I guess.
Aren't they supposed to wear? They supposed to wear masks at NXT as well, but then like you see people not wearing masks or not wearing them properly.
I think because this would be like stadium security instead of WWE personnel.
I guess that's a fair point.
The seating is a little weird. They're doing pod seating, which is groups of 1 to 6 are arranged in groups, and you cannot divide pods. You can only get tickets for a pod. They're also not doing any physical tickets, no paper tickets whatsoever. They're only doing 100% mobile ticketing. There will be no box office. All guests age 2 and older are required to have a ticket. So if you're under 2, you don't need a ticket. But if you're 2 years old, you gotta have a ticket.
We missed out by 23 years, didn't we? We almost had a free ride.
Yeah, almost. There will be hand sanitizer stations located around the stadium. The whole event will be entirely cashless. Only credit cards, debit cards, and contactless payment methods will be accepted.
Oh.
That includes tickets,
That's
merchandise.
gonna fuck people up.
Yeah, definitely. Reverse ATMs will be available at select locations inside the stadium to convert cash to a universal use Visa card. That's cool.
Oh, that's okay. Actually, now I'm thinking about it. Most ATMs do that if you have like it's at your bank.
Yeah.
For a second, I was like, that's a novel concept.
There's a no bag policy. You're not allowed to bring clear and plastic bags either. No bags at all. Guests will only be permitted to bring one small clutch purse, no larger than 4.5 inches by 6.5 inches. So only tiny bags.
Oh, it's like my wallet would be fine.
Yeah.
I have a panic attack because I need to have a bag at all times, but I would be fine.
All merchandise stands will be cashless. Merchandise will be available inside and outside of Raymond James Stadium. Prepaying for parking is highly encouraged. Tailgating is not permitted. And then
I'd love to go to a WrestleMania tailgate.
the last bit is WrestleMania 2020 tickets will not be honored for this event. So they will not be accepting people with 2020 tickets I don't know why they have to state that on their website, but maybe people have been demanding that. I don't know.
It's like when people come to like Hannaford and they're like, "Here, can you take this coupon?" And it's a Target coupon. You're like, "Oh."
Maybe that's been a thing they do. Like if you get like a 2019 ticket, you could go to 2020 in the past.
I doubt that. I'm sure it's just because people are like, "Well, are you honoring these tickets?" Which they should have honored those tickets.
But probably because they're paperless, they might not be able to.
But what I mean by honor those tickets, I mean like
Refunded. Yeah.
If people are trying to use the tickets, I assume they didn't refund them.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a lot of information.
It is. But it shows that they care.
I'd say it shows that they don't want to be liable for anything. I think it's more of a, we don't want there to be a super spreader event and then have our name tied to it.
Well, look.
Maybe they care.
Vince is a lot of things. Vince is, a controversial figure. But you can't say that he's been super negligent with COVID. Although he's stopped people from talking about it on the show until pretty recently. I mean, completely separating NXT from the main roster is a huge thing. That shows that he cares about his personnel. If only he could stop his superstars from, being goddamn morons.
I think.
Yep, let it out.
More so, I think more so it's his personnel make him money. I really don't see Vince being like, I care genuinely about this after being a massive Trump supporter for however long. I don't see it being Vince being super worried about his people. I think he's worried about his pocket. Fine. Protect what you got, I guess. I'm not saying that he's wrong for making these like restrictions or anything either. I'm just saying that there also have been times where he wasn't as on top of shit as he could be, because I mean he can impose fines for finding out that people were out without masks. He could impose fines for people going to parties. He hasn't.
That we know of.
So if he cared about people, he wouldn't have cut a bunch of jobs during one of their most fruitful years. It's a give and take with Vince.
This might be an unpopular opinion. Maybe you should have released Ricochet. Kept like somebody else in exchange. Anyone?
Would you have kept?
Brock Lesnar.
Kept in exchange for Ricochet.
Kurt Angle.
We don't necessarily have. Okay.
Trying to remember who else was released. Bo Dallas.
John Moxley released? No, John Moxley wasn't released. He left.
He left 2019, I think. Rusev, I think was Rusev was released with the COVID releases. I'm trying to think who else. But yeah, there's a huge list of names, and I mean, he couldn't have known that Ricochet was a dumb piece of shit prior to that.
True. Another piece of news, though, so we don't get hung up. We may discuss, I don't remember, but Peacock has announced that they are going to finally release these features, which is markers, finding out where matches are during pay-per-views, like not live, obviously, but if you're rewatching them.
That's cool.
Yeah. Virtual scrubbing of video timelines, the ability to rewind and fast forward or start live programming from the beginning will be available by SummerSlam.
Oh. Well, you better make sure you're in on time for Mania.
Um, so what a fucking timeline. I read that and I was like, okay. See, I'll see it soon, I guess. Gotta stick it out.
To be fair, how much live programming have they had? Oh, I guess it's NBC. They've probably had a lot.
Sports?
Sports, news, New Year's Eve. Maybe.
Yeah.
Are the Oscars on NBC or is it ABC? I think it's ABC.
It's more of are the Oscars on Peacock? Because Peacock isn't live NBC programming necessarily.
It's definitely ABC
Streaming
because the Academy is owned by Disney, I think.
Yeah. Other than that, I just had to have a good laugh with you about that one because that's just fucking hilarious to me. Let's talk about some of the comings and goings of people. We'll save the most obvious for last. Let's start with Danny Birch, who is now out for 6 months. 6 fucking months. Yeah.
Damn, that sucks.
Thanks, KK.
It sucks for Oni Orkin too.
You know, and I've thought about that, and it's just like maybe Carrion needs a little more finessing.
He's definitely improved. I don't know what injuries he's caused in the past. But we don't want to have another Nia Jax on our hands.
Exactly. Like, it worries me that this even happened in the first place, I think.
Right, yeah.
Because it wasn't a move that really required... I mean, what did he do? I thought he shoulder tackled him or suplexed him.
No, I think it was a suplex, or it was I thought it was like a kind of like an angle slam Samoan drop kind of variation.
Maybe. One way or another, it's just like, oh, Danny's not getting any younger. And God, you know, I can't stand the man, but for Oni's sake. For Oni's sake alone, it's better not fuck up my boy.
Also, I have another piece of news whenever you want me to drop it in. It's about AEW.
Well, I'll drop it in now. I'll find my next article.
Okay. So AEW has revealed their card for their first ever non-televised house show. This will be taking place in Daly's Place in Jacksonville, April 9th. It's their first ever non-televised event. The card is going to be Kenny Omega and Michael Nakazawa versus Mike Sydal and Matt Sydal. The Young Bucks and Brandon Cutler versus Pac, Ray Phoenix, and Penta El Zero Miedo.
Brandon Cutler?
Yeah, Brandon Cutler.
Is that not?
What?
What's the Cutler dude who was just released from WWE?
Steve Cutler?
Oh, different man. Okay. My deepest apologies.
Brandon Cutler is the one from the D&D show that you watch.
Yes, he is. Thanks. Hey, dumbass.
But just to reiterate that, Young Bucks and Brandon Cutler versus Pac, Ray Phoenix, and Penta El Zero Miedo. Cody Rhodes versus Ethan Page. And Darby Allin will be defending the TNT Championship against an opponent to be announced. Also in action will be Britt Baker, Jade Cargill, Orange Cassidy, and The Pinnacle, which is MJF with Wardlow, FTR, Shawn Spears, and others to be announced. There's also... what's the pricing on this?
Wanna go?
Combo ticket price for both shows is both Wednesday, April 7th and Friday, April 9th is $40. Plus fees, but
Go.
That's cheaper. For 2 days is cheaper than their goddamn pay-per-view. God damn it. That was expensive.
It was a very expensive pay-per-view. Was it $50?
$50 for that.
Was it 50?
It's 50.
I thought it was like 100 some odd.
No, it was 50.
Anyways. Right. So, back to what we were saying. WWE. Yeah. So there's an update on Keith Lee. Apparently, Keith Lee isn't medically cleared. I didn't know that.
I feel like I knew that, but I'm not sure how.
Something smells fishy to me.
Mm-hmm.
That there's no injury really to speak of. But he's not medically cleared.
Well, people are really worried because this could be a situation where he's out unannounced for an unannounced reason. The same thing happened with Brody Lee before he passed away. He was out for like no reason.
So I don't want to say that because obviously that's a lot. And that's not something I'm interested in contending with at this hour.
Mm-hmm.
But it is very weird and very concerning because it's like usually when somebody's out because of an injury, we usually find out what the injury is pretty quickly. It's usually one of those things. So it's really concerning. I wonder if COVID like hit him harder than it's hit other people on the roster.
Maybe.
You know? And he's a bigger guy.
He's more at risk.
And maybe he had other conditions that like obviously we wouldn't know about because we don't know him.
Yeah.
It's very concerning and it's very stressful and I understand that he doesn't want to talk about it. I just want him to be like, I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
Promise you. Then I'll move on. Until then.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's nerve-wracking. On a less nerve-wracking note, Alistair Black.
All right. Lay it on me.
Alistair Black has been seen at the Performance Center recently.
Okay.
Which has not been the case recently. He's not been around at all. He's been seen at the Performance Center recently. Apparently, he's been around to work off injuries. That's a good sign that he's working out at the Performance Center because it's enough. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Are you thinking the same thing?
I am basically writing the next few weeks of WWE of SmackDown in my head.
Oh, never mind.
And
we are thinking the same thing then.
My thought is he's going to come back at Mania during the Seth Rollins Cesaro match or afterwards to get revenge on Seth Rollins. Make it Alistair Black versus Seth Rollins for a while.
Stop.
Push Cesaro away to do another thing, which is to face Daniel Bryan for the Universal Championship after WrestleMania. Because that's really the only feud they could go with for the Universal Championship.
Okay.
There you go, WWE.
Say no to that.
That'll be $300, please.
As far as comings and goings of other people, there is another signing to the WWE. He is 24-year-old, which is just really weird for me to read. Lucy Garland, who has been working in Stardom as Bobby Tyler. She is British. She was just recently signed, I believe her name is now Stevie Turner for WWE purposes. And she's British, so I'm wondering if she's going to NXT UK or NXT. They could use more women in the NXT UK roster for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, let's discuss Zelina Vega, or Taya Trinidad.
Mm-hmm.
She's actually known as. Hold on.
Bless you.
Tried to talk through that sneeze, and it came out as a cough. So my apologies. But Zelina Vega, or Taya Trinidad, my throat feels weird, has signed a new contract with somebody. We don't know who. It is not fucking clear. The only thing that is clear is that it is not with AEW.
Yes, it is not with AEW. She cannot work with any other wrestling promotion under that contract. And yeah, there's nothing, no details.
I wonder if we're gonna find out that Andrade was signed to a contract like the next couple of days and be the same vibe.
Yeah, I mean, it was announced as a short-term deal. So my thought was accompanying Andrade to something like NJPW, to introduce him and be his hype man or his manager, before dipping.
Possible. I mean, there's a chance that she doesn't really want to stick with wrestling. She might just want to stick with swimming. But maybe she signed a contract because I'm just saying maybe she signed a contract because Andrade signed a contract, and therefore he was like, "Yeah, I'll do it for like a minute for you."
We don't even know that it's a wrestling company that she signed with.
It's also true. It seems like a wrestling company if she can't work with any other wrestling companies.
I mean, that might have just been like something specific in the contract because of her history.
Actually, you know what? When you put it like that, that makes sense. Maybe it's like video game stuff.
Maybe.
She's doing voiceovers.
Isn't she also acting in a movie or
work.
something? TV show?
I don't know. That's what I got for you. Somehow managed to make this news section much longer than I expected it to be. I'm gonna be really honest with you.
Part of it's probably my fault.
I mean, hey, I like when you bring news to the table and stuff. Just change my signs around.
Ooh, Killian Dane's Twitter account was suspended. Oh, it has been for a while apparently, and he uses his personal account to tweet WWE stuff.
Why was it suspended, Killian? What did you do?
Might have been hacked or something.
Maybe.
Oh, he's a podcaster apparently.
Oh.
Wrestling
wait.
with relegation.
Okay, so WWE released a list of their top 50 women's wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
And my dear God, is this list a fucking full ass mess.
I saw some of it. I know they did the Bella twins, but like they photoshopped them both as Brie.
Yeah. Okay, so the full list was revealed. I'm hoping that I can find. Okay. So, first of all, Ronda Rousey ranked above Bayley.
Let me guess, is AJ Lee number 1?
Stratus. Top 10 is Trish Stratus, Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, Chyna, Asuka, Sasha Banks, Alundra Blaze, Lita, Ronda Rousey, and Bayley. Going from 1 down to 10.
Not a bad list. Not terrible.
It's not. I would have put certain people higher than others. Like, for example, I would have put Shayna Baszler above Alexa Bliss. Like a heartbeat.
Is Beth Phoenix not on that list? Did you read Beth Phoenix?
This is actually number 11. So I did not read her, but I got damn close to it.
She should be higher. She should be at least
Bella
above
Twins are
Ronda
26.
Rousey.
Bella Twins are 26.
I mean,
Carmella ranked above Bianca Belaire.
well, I mean, if you're talking about like overall impact and like how much you've affected like the company and the scene, Carmella probably had more to do than Bianca.
Yes, but like then I would expect if that were the case, then I would say the Bella Twins would not be number 26.
Really?
They kind of did a lot for WWE women's wrestling as far as like popularity, like mainstreamness.
Alexa Bliss should also be. I'm surprised she's not up higher, like in the top 10.
I mean, I don't know if you remember all of the Alexa Bliss matches that you and I watched and were like.
No, I know, but WWE loves Alexa Bliss, and
yeah, that's I get it.
And I mean, there was a song made about Alexa Bliss, Bowling for Soup.
Yeah, Bowling for Soup, the band that has changed music history.
Yeah, some call them the modern Beatles.
They are artists. All right, let's move on, please.
All right, so big episode for WrestleMania. We started off with Daniel Bryan coming out holding a steel chair, and that seems to be a theme with a lot of wrestlers. They had it with Bayley. They had it with, didn't Kevin Owens come out with a steel chair? Somebody else came out with one. I think it was Kevin.
May have been Kevin.
But yeah, Daniel Bryan came out. He said everyone saw the truth. Everyone saw the thing Roman said would never happen. Roman tapping out. He said, in a perfect world, I would be standing in this ring as Universal Champion, but Edge stopped that from happening. Edge smacked me in the back with the chair and allowed Roman to get the pin. He said, I'm tired of standing on the sidelines. I earned the Universal Championship match, and I'm willing to earn it all again. You notice he said earn a lot. Did you understand this reference? Because...
Oh.
Yeah, Edge. Mm-hmm. For those who don't know, Edge has a t-shirt. I don't know if it goes deeper than the t-shirt, but it says earn. It's earn... Was it earn your scars? Something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
He said he wants a rematch with Roman Reigns tonight, and he's not leaving the ring until he gets what he wants. And so he unfolds the metal chair and just sits and waits. We go to commercial. After waiting like a whole minute, go to commercial, come back. He's still sitting there, waiting like another minute, and then Adam Pearce comes out. He said, I can't give you that match tonight. The referee's decision is final. You lost. And so the next Universal Championship match will be against Edge at WrestleMania. And then Daniel Bryan makes a suggestion. He said, how about I face the winner of that match at WrestleMania? And Adam Pearce says that wouldn't be fair. And then Daniel Bryan's like, oh, you want to talk about fair. He pointed out the double standard because Daniel Bryan had to do that same thing after going through the entire Elimination Chamber match, had to face Roman Reigns, and that apparently counted as a title match.
Okay, but still, can I just say something? Daniel Bryan, no offense, sweets, but that's exactly what Adam was saying. The whole time, Adam was saying, you of all people would understand how it's not fair to have to do one match after the other. You of all people would get that. And then Daniel's like, oh, so you want to talk about fairness? It's like, well, Daniel, that's exactly what I'm saying. He was like saying that wasn't really that, like a good, you know.
But Adam Pearce was the one that booked that match. Adam Pearce was the one that made Daniel Bryan go through the chamber and then face Roman Reigns one after another. And if Daniel Bryan has to do it as a challenger, I feel like if anybody has to do it, it should be the champion.
will challenge Daniel Bryan to just stop. Just stop. Challenge him to do that. And we'll fight him for it.
I am on Daniel Bryan's side through all of this. I am.
Good for you.
I'm a big DB stan.
For you so much.
So let's see, where was I? Daniel Bryan then suggests Edge versus Roman at night 1, and then Daniel Bryan versus the winner of that match at night 2. So essentially, there would be 2 Universal Championship matches at WrestleMania. An outcome nobody would have seen coming. Edge then comes out. Edge comes out, walks up to Adam Pearce, and just smacks the mic out of his hand. Adam Pearce is like holding it at his side. Edge like leans down and it smacks it out, and then just walks to the ring.
The fucking cat.
Edge is being a fucking asshole. He's being a goddamn
love that
asshole.
For him. I would be just as much of an asshole, honestly. I would be.
That's the thing. Like, everyone is kind of right in this situation. Daniel Bryan's right in that it wasn't fair, the 2 challenges that he had. Edge is right in that Daniel Bryan is being a little crybaby about it, and that he's earned his way to do this. And Daniel Bryan shouldn't have the right to challenge 3 times before Edge can challenge once. And Roman's right in that God, what was even Roman's argument? I'm trying to remember Roman's argument.
I think Roman's argument was basically just like, I already have to deal with Edge. I don't want to fucking deal with you again.
Right.
He's pissed off that he tapped.
Yeah, I think it was just that Daniel Bryan lost. Oh yeah, it was that Daniel Bryan lost. He's done. Moved to the back of the line.
Right.
But Edge, he gets in the ring. He says, "You say that this match could be your last, that this run could be your last run. Every match that I do could be my last. This is my dream, having the Universal Championship. You lost twice to Roman, and you don't deserve that match at WrestleMania." And then ticked off. Daniel Bryan attacks Edge, but then Edge delivers a nice spear to Daniel Bryan and then smacks him with the chair. We then cut to Roman, Jay, and Paul in the championship suite. Roman, he asks Paul to get Adam Pearce and then tells Jay to go with him and to use force if he has to. And then we're treated to possibly the best match that we got. Actually, no, there's a better one. But one of the better matches today. Seth Rollins versus Shinsuke Nakamura.
You ever just like go like this, and then you hear a grinding noise, and you're like,
Yeah. It's death.
anyway. I fixed my scoliosis by stiffening my entire neck.
And now you
All
walk
right,
like
so
a pencil.
I have to, I think. That fucking hurt. Knowing me, now I'm gonna wake up tomorrow morning like unable to move my entire head. So I love getting old at such a young age. So we start with a knee to the midsection of Rollins. There's a boot under the jaw against the top turnbuckle to Mr. Seth. Seth then hangs Nakamura up on the top rope. Tries going up top, but Nakamura hits him with a knee to the chest. And we get a knee to the back of the neck to Rollins against the apron. Seth manages a sling blade onto Shinsuke. Then whips Shinsuke into the buckles, but Shinsuke basically no-sells it and hits Seth with a dropkick. Shinsuke does this all the time, and it's like the weirdest dropkick I've ever seen. I don't know if it's just like a different style of it or a different his own version of it, but it always seems like one leg makes contact and the other one doesn't.
I think he's just kicking with one.
Yeah, I mean that's also fair. Looks good. It's like it looks like it's his thing. It's just I'm not sure if it's the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense. So Shinsuke just sets off with a bunch of fucking kicks to Seth. He gets Seth strung up over the ropes and hits him in the back of the neck again, with a kick this time. Then we get a basement dropkick to Seth and a sliding German suplex to Seth, pulling him under the ropes, basically. Then Shinsuke goes for another knee strike, but Seth avoids, hits him with a glancing knee, and then a Falcon Arrow in the ring. Nakamura, it's a spinning back heel. He attempts the reverse exploder, but Mr. Seth lands on his feet like a little fucking cat. Laptop auto-corrected Seth to teeth.
Nice.
Yeah. He has a nice smile. We get the landslide to Seth and a failed Kinshasa. Seth catches Shinsuke with a knee to the chin. An nasty fucking armbar takedown to Mr. Seth Rollins. Which I don't know if you noticed this or if you were too sleepy for it, but like it was just so fluid and in the air where Shinsuke just like kind of went up, grabbed the fucking arm and came down like this, and I was like,
Yeah, I don't think I noticed that.
it was wild. It was so perfect. Seth, however, lifts Shinsuke in what becomes a triangle submission hold, and power bombs his ass. We get a stomp to win. And then the best thing that's ever fucking happened to me happened, which was Seth's all pleased with himself. Mr. Claudio, Mr. Cesaro himself, comes a sprinting out. That's his best fucking friend. He'll be damned if anybody hurts him. Friends his heels and friends his faces, and I love that shit. He attacks Seth, pulls his shirt off, and challenges him to a fight, which I said, you know what? Me too, buddy. I get it. Totally. I'm challenging people to a fight. I also take my shirt off because I'm ready. Probably best not to wear a button-up shirt if you're going to do that, though. Seth narrowly avoids being swung again and rolls away as Claudio screams at him. It was very sexy. I was very turned on.
Also, I just found for WrestleMania 21, which was like WrestleMania Goes to Hollywood, they reenacted a bunch of movie scenes with wrestlers, and this hilarious one, Booker T and Eddie Guerrero reenacted the apartment scene from Pulp Fiction, where Booker T is Samuel L. Jackson's character and Eddie Guerrero is John Travolta's character. It is amazing. But anyway.
I love to see that.
I think it's on YouTube, actually. But we then have a promo with Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman, and Adam Pearce, where Pearce comes into the champion suite. Roman says, I think Pearce said, I don't know what prompted this, but Roman said, "We don't thank you, you thank us." He said, you get me for one night. One title defense. And then Pearce said that he will have his decision by the end of the night. Then we have a Seth Rollins interview. He's so mad about being swung. So mad. He says, if Cesaro steps in my lane again, bad things will happen. I'm issuing a challenge to Cesaro at WrestleMania. I will never be swung by Cesaro. Never, ever again. And Cesaro comes in, attacks Seth, slams him into some boxes, and then goes for another swing. All of the WWE officials and refs are like shouting at him to stop. He just throws him, stands over him, and yells, "Challenge accepted," and then walks away.
That was like really cute.
That was great.
I was into that.
And then we have As our next match, Biggie and the Street Profits versus Apollo Crews and Alpha Academy, and I thought this match was fantastic. Mostly because of Chad and
I
Otis.
apologize.
You what?
I said I apologize because it got a little hairy at the end there. I took some bad notes. I tried. I really did. So start with Otis and Dawkins in the ring first. Big E is like barking from the fucking sidelines and nearly gets his ass kicked out. Dawkins goes right into a shoulder tackle to Mr. Otis, but it doesn't really rock Otis in any respect. He drop kicks Otis. He gets Montez in. They manage a double drop kick onto Otis, who still does not go down. Montez then jumps right into Mr. Otis's arms to be power slammed. Then get Chad in. And this was when I realized, I was like, I don't think we have enough technical wrestlers in the main roster because you got a dragon screw to Montez. And Corey and Michael were like, what a great takedown. And I was like,
We've got a lot of technical wrestlers in the main roster. Like Daniel Bryan, Drew Gulak, Roman Reigns to an extent. Obviously Chad. They've had Kurt Angle.
Right. So what I'm saying is right now there's not enough. And I also mean there's not enough technical wrestlers that are actively wrestling technically.
Yeah.
Because like it's like I know what a dragon screw looks like, and I'm an idiot. So the fact that okay, you know what? Never mind. Corey Graves is also a fucking idiot. So the fact that he didn't know what it was is not entirely shocking. But Montez then goes over the ropes and immediately is brought down from a fucking wild Northern Light suplex. I've only ever seen Chad do, and I've only ever seen him do it like once or twice before this. It is a cool little move. Because like Montez like flew up and just fluidly, Chad was like, yes, suplex. And I was like, what? Okay. Apollo gets in off of that. There's a shoulder tackle to Ford and then a stalling suplex. Montez manages to fall free from that. He and Seguri's Apollo, and then we get Big E versus Chad. We get some belly to bellies to Chad. He takes Otis off the apron. I believe he takes Apollo off the apron as well. Big E hits the big splash onto Otis. He goes for the big ending, but Gable manages to grab his arm and shoves him away. We then get a Uranagi to Gable. Otis breaks the cover. Then Apollo comes in at some point. I don't remember when he got tagged in, but he got tagged in because he got the win. He had to have. Dawkins comes in. He slaps Apollo. Gable and Otis come in to suplex Dawkins. Montez gets in to interfere as well in some respect. And then we just get a fallaway slam to Big E from Apollo to win.
That was a big win. That was a hefty fallaway slam.
It was a nasty one.
Also, I just found this video on Twitter, which is during the commercial break of the Seth Shinsuke match. Seth walks Shinsuke over to the announce desk and slams him, like his upper body onto the desk, and he spilled Michael Cole's drink. And then Shinsuke like rolls away, and Seth just stands there laughing at Michael Cole, just laughing like ha ha ha.
Why is his voice like that? He's like a little Keebler elf.
Oh my god.
Love him to death. I truly do, but like my goodness gracious.
I wish that hadn't been during the commercial break. Just imagine Bailey screaming from a distance.
Dude, everyone wants Bailey to fight Michael Cole at WrestleMania, and frankly, I'm not saying no. I think there's a better person for her to fight in terms of on the announce team, but I would cry.
Speaking of
That's
which,
appreciated.
I was looking out for this today. No Bailey, no Carmella at all. We haven't seen them in weeks.
Last time we saw Bailey, she
It was that weird
her
superstar
fake
session.
sessions.
Yeah.
Supernova.
And the last we saw Carmella was when she ditched Reginald.
Or how much they built up to her.
Yeah. Yeah. She had one feud. That was it.
And it was all broken up by a man. So what have we learned today?
Don't trust
Men ain't
WWE.
shit.
Oh.
That too, which is mostly men.
Anyway, after that match, we had Adam Pearce approached by Edge. Edge asks him, "What kind of ship are you running?" I want a one-on-one match with Roman at Mania. No Daniel Bryan. Adam Pearce said, "My job is to consider all the facts and make a decision based on those facts." And then Edge responded with, "Let's hope you make the right decision, or else." And then we get the KO show with a special guest, Sami Zayn. Before Sami even comes out, Kevin Owens stands in the ring and he says, I don't believe Sami's theories, but as I told him, I will always have his back. But I do have a question for Sami." And then Sami Zayn comes out, dances at the top of the ramp, and just says, "I know what you're going to ask. I'm sorry." Kevin said, "That's actually not what I was going to ask." But Sami interrupts him and says, no. Yes, I'm sorry. But I know what you're going to ask. Yes, you can still be a part of the documentary. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but we've got a lot of numbers. Logan Paul has been super interested in it. I've been talking to him on Twitter. In fact, he's going to be on Smackdown next week, and the graphic comes up on the Titan, the Jumbo. Kevin Owens says, I don't care. And then Sami goes on a tirade. You don't care. You don't care about me. You don't care about the documentary. You don't care about anything. And then Kevin yells at Sami, interrupting him, "Shut up." And then he says, "What I actually wanted to ask you is for a challenge at WrestleMania." Sami's unsure about it, but Kevin kind of he strong arms him a little bit, and he says fine. He accepts, and then Kevin said, "The reason I didn't start wailing on you when you originally came out here was because I was waiting for you to accept the challenge at WrestleMania, but since you accepted the challenge, well, I'm gonna start wailing on you now." And then he starts beating up Sami. And you know what? This will be good for Sami. This will knock some sense into him. He'll knock the sanity back into his small head.
We just quickly discuss the fact that Logan Paul is going to be something we have to watch next week.
Look, I am genuinely hoping, considering the fact that Corey Graves has been the only one talking him up, and nobody else has been. It's been Corey and Sami, and that's it. The two heels. I think he's not going to show up. Logan Paul's not going to show up. Sami's going to go fucking insane, being like, "He promised me he'd show up."
Oh, yeah. Maybe we'll be fine. Okay.
And that will further motivate the match for WrestleMania. Although having Logan Paul show up would be massive for WWE numbers, but also we would have to see his face. But also he lives in California, so like,
yeah, because Logan Paul definitely is probably concerned about traveling during a pandemic. I'm sure. Seems like the smart type of dude.
Well, I'm just saying that because he'd probably have to travel back and forth, and he probably doesn't want to do that, regardless of it being a pandemic, for like one day.
But also, they're paying him. And not a lot of other people are right now.
But also, speaking of money, they're paying for Bad Bunny right now. Do you think they have the money to pay Logan Paul as well? That's two
I think
massive
they have more money than
celebrities.
God.
I disagree. I think we won't
Are they
see.
willing?
Right. That's fair. I don't think they'll be willing to.
I'm hoping not.
But yeah, I think Logan Paul's not going to show up. Because this whole thing has been nobody believes Sammy. Nobody. And Logan Paul, I guess, is the only one that Sammy is relying on right now. But
I mean, it would make sense for him to be like, Logan's gonna come, and Logan Paul's just like, say that.
he'll probably do a video call or something, explaining why he's not coming. They still get technically a Logan Paul appearance.
I just don't want to have to see Logan Paul at all.
I know. Trust me, I'm with you.
No, what is a paw? Missed it. Her little paw came into the frame.
I think I saw it for like a second. But we then have Adam Pearce approached by Daniel Bryan backstage, and Adam Pearce is like, Daniel Bryan, please, if you're gonna tell me. And then Daniel Bryan's no. He says, no, I understand. I was general manager too, so I know the position you're in. I just know deep down you will make the right decision.
She didn't, so.
No, you did. You made the right decision.
I think you did, though.
Yeah, he did.
I don't think they're wrong with me.
We then have an interview with Bianca Belaire. She said, I could have whipped Sasha into next month at Fastlane, but I didn't. I wanted to make sure that she could make it to Mania. And I was trying to be the bigger person at Fastlane, so that I could not be the bigger person at Mania. Or rather, come out the bigger person at Mania. And then we, for some reason, get Bianca Belaire versus Natalia.
Hey, I didn't hate this match. I thought this was a pretty decent match.
It was a good match, but I feel like it doesn't do service to Natalia at all.
I don't know. I think sorry. I feel whiskers on my ankle, and usually that means I'm about to get bitten. Would not care for right now. I don't think it needed to really do much of a service to Natty, because I think that we're gonna get more building into this, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of faith in this temporary feud. I think that this is a good place to be. Natty and Tamina have been getting a lot more than like we've been getting them in the past.
Yeah.
I'm thankful as fuck for that. They're so good.
I wonder
Just
if
Tamina to get like a centigrade more respect.
I wonder if next Friday we'll get an announcement of Natty and Tamina versus Shayna and Nia for the women's tag titles.
I don't think so, only because we got that at Lana and Naomi ringside. I think that that's gonna happen.
Or maybe they'll do like a pre-show of like night one will be like all the women's tag teams in like some fatal four-way or something. And then at night two the championship match happens. But I also realized we haven't seen any Riot Squad either. The women's scene has
seen Billy Kay either.
Half of the women's scene has been missing.
Vince, what did you do?
Oh no. Oh no.
Somebody call Stephanie.
Somebody call Linda. Actually, don't
Vince
call
just
Linda.
doesn't care about. Don't call Linda. I was just gonna say that Vince just doesn't care about women's wrestling. That's what this is.
That's fair.
Ah, delicious. Delicious disrespect. Just kidding. I got to see Tamina for like a little bit today, and it made my day. Have I said enough how much I'm happy that Natty and Tamina are actually getting to like do full matches? Anyways, so Natty versus Bianca, we start with a dropkick right off the bat to Natalya and a shoulder tackle. Natty tries running around the ring basically to escape Bianca, but has no luck. I didn't know how to describe this move, but Natty manages to catch Bianca around the waist. And like, how do I describe this? Slingshot ass breaker. Basically bounced her off the ropes and then slammed her ass first into the ground. And I said, "My sweet, sweet tailbone."
Yeah,
my God,
that looked painful.
It did not look fun. Then get a knee to the back of the head of Bianca. A massive slam to Natty. Bianca goes up top to capitalize, and Sasha comes out. Which, okay, this might not be a popular opinion, and I respect that entirely. Sasha was acting kind of funky tonight, dude. Sasha was acting like a little weird, and like not like the, oh, Sasha's just being a bully, she's just going full heel right now, no big deal. Sasha was acting fucking weird.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen enough of her sitting ringside to know what Sasha acts like. It was just like a lot of movement, a lot of facial expressions, and I was like, and she also sounded like she has a stuffed up nose, so I'm wondering if maybe she hit the cold medicine just a little too hard.
What if
just
she,
like a little too hard?
What if she has COVID and they don't want that match to not happen, so they just pumped her with cold medicine?
Because I have also been a victim of taking like just a little too much Dayquil and just suddenly being like, "Hello, everyone! It's Elizabeth time."
Also, what happens if somebody gets COVID like before WrestleMania? Like, what do you do with that match?
I have no clue. I know that I'm sure they're probably doing literally everything they possibly can to avoid that reality.
They got a bubble.
And you know what? That's probably why we haven't seen a lot of the wrestlers that like aren't necessary to the storyline, like Carmella and Reginald. And well, we have seen Reginald. That's a lie. But Carmella and Bailey, people that don't really necessarily have matches set up right now.
Yeah.
I think they're doing exactly what NXT is doing for TakeOver, which is basically making sure that the only people at tapings are the people that need to be at tapings, and the people that they need for WrestleMania. The people that they need for WrestleMania are at home if they're not needed.
Well, no, because there's still a lot of people seen at the Thunderdome, like Alistair Black, for example.
He wasn't seen at the Thunderdome. He was seen at the Performance Center training.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh. Which is why I'm kind of taking these reports of like, oh, well, so-and-so hasn't been at the Thunderdome in so long. It's like, right now they're definitely not going to be there, because I'm sure that they're taking literally every precaution possible going into WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
So, that said, Josh comes out acting just fucking strange as shit, dude. Kind of made me like a little stressed. I don't know how to say this properly. Our Wi-Fi is bananas bad. I had to turn it off on my own. So, fingers crossed for this.
I mean, so far we're fine. Every problem that we have, every error that comes up, it has nothing to do with the internet.
Didn't know the errors were coming up.
I've told you, every time like the stream cuts out, it's an error comes up.
Is the stream cut out yet today?
No. But now.
Okay.
Knock on wood.
Anywho. So Sasha comes out acting strange as shit, being a complete bully, which is her vibe now. He sits ringside for the rest of this match, talking. At one point, Sasha, I think, said something along the lines of like, I was in the Royal Rumble too. And Michael Cole's like, but did you win? I was like, Mr. Cole, please. There's no need for this. This distraction, however, doesn't stop Bianca from elbowing Natalya in the face on the apron, and then she walks right into a kick from Tamina. It was like just such a slow walk too. She just like elbowed Natty and then was like, dude, what? I was like, babe, I love. When we go to commercial, we come back with Natty having Bianca in like that weird fucking submission hold that I cannot explain. All I know is that it reminds me of like those Pinterest couples that do like weird yoga in bed together where like boyfriend like lifts the girlfriend with his feet. Like she's floating over him basically.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's all I can describe that as. Except painful. So we get a powerbomb to Natalya that's countered with a head scissors. There's a suplex to Belair and then a shoulder tackle to Natty as well as a drop kick and a kip up, just for good measure. Because Bianca is not one to be fucked with. She at one point rolls Natty up and basically folds her in half, which I thought was fucking wild. I didn't realize that Natty folded like that. Bianca then takes her lashes off. She gets a standing moonsault onto Natty, who tries to roll away, but doesn't roll away enough in time, and Bianca gets part of it, and I don't really know if she was supposed to. Not really sure if Bianca was supposed to get any of that, actually. That's my prerogative. We get a discus lariat to Bianca after Bianca avoids a sharpshooter with a small package roll-up. Then... Oh, Bianca gets out of the ring because Sasha's been just talking shit this whole time. No, Bianca gets sent out of the ring. Sorry, again. But Sasha's talking shit. She gets up. Bianca gets up. Bianca punches the shit out of Sasha. Gets back in the ring. We get a hard right to Natty and a KOD that's like a little bit botched, but it's okay because it gets her the win. And then Sasha gets into the ring and gives Bianca a backstabber. I mean, good on you, Bianca. You won at least.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully this feud can be saved.
I think there's a chance. I think today was a good show of booking them.
Yeah. After that, though, we had Roman, Jay, and Paul in their suite, and Edge comes in. And this kind of solidified to me what's going to happen in the match at Mania. Edge comes in and says, or Roman says, Edge, if you don't learn, I'm gonna let the pit bull off his leash. Meaning Jay. But Edge says he's trying to work with Roman to get Daniel Bryan out of Mania. He says, if things don't go our way, I could be pinning Daniel Bryan for the Universal Championship. And obviously Roman doesn't want that because he wants to defend it himself. But this basically solidified to me that Daniel Bryan was winning the title. Because if you have these two big heels now, work kind of mentally working together, the face is going to come out on top. Especially in the first live event in a year. But right after that, we then have, for some reason, to get the tag team champions on TV, Rey Mysterio versus Dolph Ziggler.
Yep. No offense. Actually, no, total offense. I hate this fucking title run, dude. I hate it.
This is such a bad run. It's so awful.
It's such a, I feel like my time is being wasted whenever I have to see it because nobody looks like, since the Street Profits aren't really like being technically allowed to challenge for it, it's like nobody's really a strong contender.
Yeah. I'm telling you, they have to unify the titles. There's not enough tag teams to have titles for both brands.
Especially not right now.
Right, yeah.
Back like in the old days, like pre-COVID and pre-WWE cutting everybody in the entire brand, there was a ton of tag teams. More than like I can even keep up with half the time. And so it's just like, and like they were all such convincing tag teams, and none of these are. I watch old pay-per-views and I'm just like, holy shit, like this was amazing. Now I watch pay-per-views now, and I'm like, that's all I can get. And that's like the one reason, like against my better intuition and my better knowledge, that's the one reason why I'm looking forward to live crowds at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I think that's what we need again, really badly. Yeah. Dolph versus Ray. Dolph splashes Ray in the corner. Ray dodges Dolph, sends Dolph head first into the post. We get some weird flying head scissors to Dolph that doesn't really look like it works, but it works.
Mm-hmm.
And then an enziguri. Dolph looks to powerbomb Ray, who punches free and then sends Dolph over the ropes with his legs. He then goes to Hurricane Rana Dolph by jumping off of the apron onto the man ringside. But Dolph catches him and powerbombs him over the barricade, and then super kicks Dominic. That's Dolph things, baby. Super kick a child, throw a man over the barricade. Ray gets back in the ring post commercial break. Get Dolph and Ray up top, but Dolph can't remove Ray from the top buckle. Ray sends him down into the canvas, hits him with a flying senton. We get a super kick to Dolph's ear, and Dolph whips Ray into the corner, and Ray sends a boot to the face of Mr. Dolph. Then get a face buster to Ray and a famouser. A failed super kick to Ray. Ray sets up for the 619 after that, but Rude interferes. Dominic interferes. Dominic is thrown out by Rude. Ray dropkicks Rude. Wants to fly out onto Robert Roode because he forgets that he has an opponent in the fucking ring. Hang on, let me just finish this note because I'm on a roll here.
I want to talk about this thing.
Okay. Ray forgets that he's like fighting Dolph, so he goes to fly out onto Robert. Dolph hits him with the zigzag to pull that thought from his mind entirely.
That was a great ass move. That looked so cool.
It was a great fucking move. It looked awesome. It's just one of those things where I'm just like, how did you forget that you have an opponent? How does that part skip your mind? I don't know, man. Ray is then nearly powerbombed again, but he fights out of it with a Hurricane Rana. This sets Dolph up for the 619, or sets Ray up, I guess, for the 619. And then we get an actually really fucking cool frog splash because Ray basically vaults himself over the ropes entirely. 9 times out of 10, he'll push up from the apron, get up on the rope, and crossbody or frog splash from there. But like he just vaulted himself over, and I was like, okay, small man will fly. That's how he wins that fucking match. On him.
Yeah, I fully expect the Mysterios to win the tag title at Mania. They'll probably have a match announced like next week or something. But somebody posted an article from Wrestling Observer News giving reasoning behind an unexpected change to the Universal title match. It says there have been a number of changes in recent weeks where Edge turned heel and screwed Daniel Bryan in the Fastlane main event. That was a late change stemming from a decision made by Vince McMahon that he wanted a number of things changed, including Reigns versus Edge. Numerous suggestions were made by a lot of people, most of which were said to be bad. The one eventually greenlit was adding Bryan to the match, which everyone agreed to. At that point, the feeling was Bryan would be the face. There was a lot of conjecture that Reigns would have been cheered over Edge, and that may have happened and may have led to Edge going heel. But we're told that was not the reason the match was changed. One person close to the situation said that the age issue, not as much the number as the look of age, he was looking older each week, with Edge was a concerning point. But really, it was said it was just McMahon wanting to shake up the plans. So Vince just wants to shake things up.
I don't understand he's looking older each week. It's like, well, he's an older man. He looks as old as he did the first time.
But yeah, that right, the Mysterios will probably win the title at WrestleMania. What will be interesting, and I saw this point posted online, is Ray and Dom get the titles And then eventually Dom turns on Ray. And then they have a match, maybe next year's Mania, which is like a match for the mask, where if Ray loses, he has to retire. And if Dom wins, he gets the mask.
Ooh. Okay. Not saying no to that.
That sounds pretty interesting. But we then have our final segment of the night. Excuse me. We have Adam Pearce and Roman Reigns out in the ring. Edge comes out, and then Daniel Bryan comes out. And then Adam Pearce announces his decision. He says that for the Universal Championship at WrestleMania, there will be a triple threat match with Daniel Bryan added in. And then there's kind of an awkward silence. Edge starts to lunge at Daniel Bryan, but Daniel Bryan quickly reacts and attacks Edge. But then Roman breaks it up by attacking Daniel Bryan with a Superman punch. Jay grabs a chair from the timekeeper's area, gives it to Roman. But Edge then spears Roman, and then spears Jay, and then smacks both Roman and Daniel Bryan with a chair. He puts a chair under Roman and Daniel Bryan's heads, grabs another chair. I don't know what he was planning here, but the WWE officials come in to stop him. But he attacks them, including Pat Buck, which I don't know what's going to happen. What's going to be the result of that? Because we know the last time Pat Buck got attacked, certain somebody got suspended.
Also, Beth Phoenix tweeted, "What did you do?" And I was like,
saw that.
Fucking Adam Copeland.
Oh God. But yeah, so good lead in to WrestleMania. But who knows what the last week will have in store. Literally the night before WrestleMania, what's gonna happen to shake things up? Who knows? And so that's the Smackdown episode.
We made it. We made it, boys. Not the best episode, but not the worst episode by any means of the word.
They gotta set up some stuff. I mean, it was good promos, but matches were, for the most part, just okay.
It was a post-pay-per-view show.
Yeah. Alright, so bests of the night. Here we go. We open up the little window. There we go. Alright. So, promo of the night. This one's gonna be a little tough. We start off with Daniel Bryan. With the chair. He's talking in the ring, and then Edge comes out. They have their little interaction. Where Daniel Bryan sits in the chair and waits. Adam Pearce has his mic smacked out of his hand. That was great. This whole opening promo was great to start with. Really set the scene for what would come later. We then had Roman, Jay, and Paul in their suite. That was whatever. Roman, Paul, and Pearce in the suite. That was fine. Seth Rollins' interview where he challenged Cesaro was great, especially adding that the additional swings and Cesaro accepting the challenge. That was great. Adam Pearce and Edge backstage. That was whatever. The KO show was good. It feels like we've really jumped to 100 really fast with this. But we have to remember this is Sami Zayn, who's a little bonkers. That's fine. And this is also a Kevin Owens who literally just came out of a feud with Roman Reigns. He is on his last leg sanity wise, so yeah, but in different ways. I thought this was really good. I'm kind of dreading a potential Logan Paul appearance, but I'm hoping it's just like maybe a video call and then ditches Sammy. But then we have Daniel Bryan and Adam Pearce backstage. That was fine. We had the Bianca Belaire interview, which was whatever. The Roman J and Paul promo and the suite where Edge comes in and wants to manipulate things. That was fine. And then we had the ending promo with announcing the decision, which was just a big brawl. It was fine. So my pick for promo of the night is the one that started off the show. Daniel Bryan waiting for Roman.
I'm only gonna give it to you because I don't like a lot of the other promos, and I thought this was fucking hilarious.
It was hilarious.
I'll let you have it. Only this one, though.
Oh, only this one. Okay. I don't know if you'll agree with me on the rest, but we'll see.
Oh dear.
Alright, so we start off with Seth Rollins versus Shinsuke Nakamura for Wrestler of the Night. I picked Seth Rollins because Shinsuke is great, but I think Seth really has a beautiful mix of wrestling and character. Especially if they would have shown the spilling the water bottle on TV, not during a commercial. But he is fantastic. I just wish this wasn't a rematch because I feel like we would have seen a better performance if it was a new match. We then had Biggie and Street Profits versus Apollo Crews and Alpha Academy. I picked Chad Gable. Chad Gable looked fucking amazing today. I mean, that when Montez tried to springboard off of the apron and then Chad just grabbed him and Northern Lights suplexed him.
That was sick.
That was. And then there was that one moment where he killed Angelo Dawkins and then I forget what happened, but
Angie got like a little fucked up.
He did a combo with Otis where Dox landed on his head.
Yeah, basically, I think what it was basically Dawkins just got suplexed. Like the end of the combination was a suplex.
Yeah.
It was Dawkins just like rolled and fell out of the ring, and I was like, "All right, buddy, understood."
But yeah, amazing performance from Chad Gable. Every time he wrestles, he's so good. He is really something else. I want to see a title around his belt. I feel like, or a title around his waist. That would be great. Then we had Bianca Belaire versus Natalya. I picked Natalya, or no, I picked Bianca. Sorry, I picked Bianca. She looked good. Her little bit with Sasha really added that extra bit of character. But she was really good. Not a whole lot in the match to really impress though, but besides that, it was a good match. Or a good performance from her. Then we had Rey Mysterio versus Dolph Ziggler. I'm giving this match to Dolph. Dolph with that amazing zigzag off the ropes. And then that great famouser that he had. And Dolph does a really good job at not only looking good himself, it's the same thing with Cesaro. He makes himself look really good, but also makes his opponent look really good.
Yeah. Yes, I mean I hate him, but like I get it.
But yeah, great performance from him. I'm just so soured by their championship reign that it's hard to look for anything positive with anything that they're involved in. But my pick for Wrestler of the Night, I don't think there's any contest. I picked Chad Gable. That Northern Lights suplex was too good, too fluid.
I'm happy to give this one to you. happy to agree on this one.
I wasn't sure if you picked
Very
Seth.
often. No, I mean, Seth was good, but Fastlane Seth was really good.
He was.
So it just coming off that so close in the same match, it's a little, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked this. I thought that Chad looked great, and I've been missing Chad looking great.
Yeah. All right, so match of the night. I don't think there's any contest here. We had Seth Rollins versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Again, it's just a rematch. I mean, if you had this match by itself, great. It would look a lot better, especially with the ending. But because it's literally just following Fastlane, where we had the same exact match, it just looks worse in comparison.
Mm-hmm.
But then we had Biggie and Street Profits versus Apollo Crews and Alpha Academy, which we were a little annoyed, soured when they announced a 6-man tag, especially with Biggie and Apollo, because it feels too out there, too random. But this match really turned up. Like, this was a great performance, especially from the heel tag team. Like, Chad and Apollo gave great performances. Otis gave a great performance too, and Street Profits did a great job. And Biggie, for the small duration that he was in, did a really good job. And I think this is really setting us up for Mania, in that Apollo finally got a win on Big E, but I think this is just an attempt to kind of make us unsure of where we're going to go. And then hopefully we'll get some kind of something with Alpha Academy at Mania. It would be a shame if we don't. And then we have Bianca Belaire versus Natalia. Good match. Good bits with Sasha and Bianca, but Sasha, she soured this match for me, honestly. Sasha really made this match weird.
She was just acting so fucking strange.
Mm-hmm.
It was the hard part for me, because like my brain was like, "Are you good?
Yeah.
Do I need to be worried, or are you good?" So that did take me out of it a lot, because I was like not focusing on the match anymore. I was more like, so maybe next time we just take a half cap a night or Dayquil. Maybe.
Mm-hmm. And then lastly, we had Rey Mysterio versus Dolph Ziggler, which was kind of a fun match. But that's really all it was. It was just a little bit of fun. That was it. It's really the only kind of storytelling we got from it. That was just fun. But my pick for match of the night, it's pretty clear, I think. It is Big E and the Street Profits versus Apollo Crews and Alpha Academy. Yeah. Are you gonna say anything?
I agree with you.
Okay.
It's hard. Sometimes on SmackDown episodes, it's hard for me to pick out somebody that I like the most.
Mm-hmm.
This was a good match.
Yeah, especially for a 6-man tag.
Yeah. It was easy to follow, which is also kind of rare for a 6-man tag.
I think it's because it was mostly Street Profits and Alpha Academy. You didn't have too much Apollo and Big E until the very end. When pin time came around.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get that, actually. I think, and the point where it got like a little too wonky was right at the end. It was for a very short period of time. It wasn't like those weird matches where it's right in the middle and you're like, you have to reset. So, I agree.
All right, so to run it back, our promo of the night, Daniel Bryan waits for Roman Reigns. Wrestler of the night, Chad Gable. Match of the night, Big E and the Street Profits versus Apollo Crews and Alpha Academy. Woo, this was Smackdown. This was something. Liz, would you like to close out the show?
I sure feel smacked down.
A
If you're looking for a good joke, please check out the Twitter. I made a really fucking funny joke today that Mark didn't like, which means it was really funny. If you tuned in tonight, thank you so much. We appreciate it. If you tuned in the future, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Hope you're having a good April Fool's Day and nobody has April Fool's you. We will be back on Monday. We'll be back on Monday. Talk about Monday Night Raw. One show no one wants to watch, but we will watch it for you.
Yeah.
That's what we do here.
Yeah.
We watch the wrestling so you don't have to. And, the NXT, I encourage people to watch it. With SmackDown, 9 times out of 10, I don't have to encourage people to watch it. Raw, we will watch it for you. So there's that.
How
we
do
will
they-
also...
How do they expect to bring in Logan Paul's fan base if they're going to have a 3-hour-long show?
older than that fan base, and somehow even I can't focus on a 3-hour show.
Also, Miriam says, Pinfall dying for our sins every Monday night. We salute you.
Thanks. We need it because, oh my god. A number of times I've almost fallen asleep during Raw, and I'm like, gotta take notes. Yeah, we'll watch that for you if you don't want to fucking watch it. I don't blame you. But also this week, we will be taking our very special co-host, Pepita. We will be asking her to make her own predictions for the NXT matches that have been announced for TakeOver so far. We have to spread it out, or else the cat will probably puke.
We will be releasing... We won't be streaming it. If I can find out a way to play it on Twitch, we will do that, but it will be primarily on YouTube and be released the day before the pay-per-view. So for TakeOver, it will be released the Tuesday before. For WrestleMania, it will be the Friday before.
And we will also... There might be a special little clip on the Twitter at some point. If I can manage to hold the cat back from the treats and also take a video at the same time. Possibly. Get angles. Close-ups even. Multi-camera shoot right there.
So thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Follow, subscribe. Our YouTube is the Pinfall Podcast. Make sure to subscribe so you can see our cat doing the predictions. She will be kind of the baseline, and we'll see if we can beat the cat or not beat the cat. We won't actually beat the cat, but we're going to see if we can defeat the cat.
Which we also probably won't be able to do either because the cat is she's a wily little fucker.
She's smart.
She's something. She's cute. Nothing else. She's a cutie.
Our Twitter is at Pinfall Podcast. I am at the Mark Cameron on Twitter. Liz is at Eliza Elaine23. And thank you all for watching. We'll see you on Monday for Monday Night Raw. Unfortunately. But have a fantastic evening. And we'll see you on Monday.
Fantastic weekend.
Have a great weekend. Yes.